Oh.
Hello.
Doo-doo.
Y'all been partying without us?
Sorry, yeah, I had to keep them entertained. Except Linda, I don't think is amused. Sorry.
I'm trying to figure out if it was even working.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm doing myself because nobody needs to see this.
Oh my goodness. Well, it doesn't have to be shot up your nose. You know, you can pick a different angle.
Sorry, but it's what I love.
Oh,
Okay, sorry. There we are.
Mine's not even showing, so I have no idea.
it goes back and
because I'm
forth.
talking to my
Like
bathroom. That's
Veronica
why.
was there and now she's not there.
I took myself off because I'm sick and I look terrible.
Oh my goodness, Pooey, y'all. Don't worry about it. Okay, well, we're gonna get started because it's already been recording, y'all. So I set this thing to start recording as soon as it starts. So hey.
Hi.
All right, so we got Brittany, Linda, Veronica, Susie. I think that's everybody on the phone. So, did you bring something to share, Brittany? Oh, yum. Looks like a burrito or some sort of Rice Krispie treat. I can't really tell.
Trina's all sideways.
Oh, my goodness.
Hang on a second. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, there's Trina. You missed it, Trina. We had a great view up Susie's nose.
Great.
Awesome.
Here, I don't want her to feel left out.
Oh,
Thanks a lot.
that's fantastic.
Okay, am I still
I'm hiding
sideways?
in the bathroom.
No, you're not sideways. You're good.
Okay.
Unless I'm sideways, and so I don't realize that you're sideways, but I
No.
think you're not. Okay, so I have quite a few things I want to go over, so we're going to jump in. First thing is National Conference. I just want to touch briefly on that. It is open up for you to register. I haven't even looked to see if anybody's registered. Is anybody who's already registered by any chance?
Nope.
Not yet?
No, but I have my room.
Yes, that's a good thing. Susie has a room. She may not be let into the arena, but she has a room.
Priorities.
I registered the very first day because I'm super excited. So I know we have until the end of May, but I hope that you will make the jump and register so you don't miss out. The topic I'm excited about is called Everyone Has a Story. So that's kind of fun. So if you have any questions or you want to know more, for those of you who are either on the call, Catherine's with us. Hey, Catherine. Or for those of you who are listening to this recording, make sure that you join the Team 413 conference page, because I try to not bog down our regular page with all the conference stuff. Just because you join the conference page doesn't mean that you're committing to go, but it's a good place to go and kind of figure out, okay, who's driving so I can drive, who's flying so I can have a flying buddy, who needs a hotel room, all that kind of good stuff. So if you'll just kind of go to the conference page, there's lots of great questions and facts and things to kind of find out there. I can't remember the statistics, but the statistics for those who go to conference and how much longer they last with 31 and how much stronger their business grows is pretty high. I forget what it is. But it makes a huge impact on your business. For one, it kind of gives you, I guess you can say, it kind of helps you drink the pink Kool-Aid, because once you drink that pink Kool-Aid, it's like you're stuck, because the speakers are always phenomenal. We do have one of the speakers I'm super excited about. He studied under Ansel Adams. I love his photography. And so I think he's going to be amazing. Hearing from Scott and Cindy is pretty cool. There's always, leaders training us. Some of my best friends have come out of National Conference. I mean, literally people that I just walked across the street with, and we started talking and connected and took a picture on the sidewalk. And then 6 years later, we meet up every conference and take a picture on the sidewalk. I mean, it's just stuff like that where you just can't make those kind of friendships anywhere else. The product expo is coming back, which is super fun. And basically it's going to be all the new stuff coming out for the fall. They'll have us set up in this beautiful walk around area where you'll be able to touch and feel and try on and take photos. And there's going to be lots of home office staff there to answer questions for you. There are product amenities that you get for coming to National Conference. So you get these perks of, extra goodies that'll be sent to your house. So when you come home from National Conference, there'll be this box sitting on the doorstep full of new samples for you. I love the chest salad. These are the ribbons that we get, with our name and our state and our consultant, what all the different things that we're doing with our businesses is on there. This year they're bringing back the home office tours, which I'm super excited about. They did those a few years ago and they haven't done them since. It is an additional charge, but I would totally do it. It is just, the first time I went on a home office tour, which now I've done multiples of them, it really opened my eyes to not only how much bigger this thing is than just, a few consultants at a party. All the internationals that have jobs, all of the college students that get jobs, all of the family members and husbands and wives and people that have jobs at home office that you get to see working, answering the phones, monogramming the bags, working in the warehouse. It's really humbling. It really makes you realize how much you're giving back to your country. It's pretty cool. And then just the fun. I mean, shoot, you get to hear Scott play the saxophone at the big, assemblies there. He's awesome. So enough of that. Hopefully you'll join in with us at National Conference. We'll have team time. It's a lot of fun. Okay. I haven't started it up yet, but I'll probably do it tomorrow. Be on the lookout for some sort of booking blitz like we did last month with the, the March theme, gold, rainbow at the end, gold at the end of the rainbow and all that goofiness. I'll probably do something Eastery this time. If you've already booked parties, that's fine. You'll be a head start. We'll probably do something like throwing eggs or something around the team page. But we're going to really try to focus on booking a couple more parties for April. I know April's a hard month because some of you are experiencing spring break. Some of you have lots of Easter things with your family. I know it's a very busy month for Catholics. There's just a lot of things that are going on. So just do your best. But there's also some special stuff coming up at the end of the month. You may start hearing a little buzz. And so watch 31 today because there is something great coming at the end of the month. And you want to just book up and get those parties going so everybody can be a part of it. Okay. Before I move on to like just more fun stuff, does anybody have any questions specifically about, I'm trying to see. Okay. Does anybody have any specific question about the April, hello, Susie, about the April customer special? Does anybody have any questions about it? I don't have the soft utility tote on hand, but I have that great, humongous, I love this thing, my big, what do they call this thing? I'm terrible with names, y'all.
Stand tall bin.
But it's part of the, what was it, Trina?
Stand tall bin.
Stand tall bin, thank you. You guys, there's like 10 years of names of products in my head, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know what it is. Just, it's the cute tall thing. I'm going to be taking it to the parties. I don't usually take big stuff like that to the parties, but all this month, I'll be taking that to the parties because that thing is incredible. I've got 4 of them, 3 for dirty clothes, and then the one that I keep in here to collect toys and stuff throughout the year for,
I have one filled for Beanie Boos.
Yes, they're great. And I love how they have the 4 sticks in them. When we first came out with those a few years ago, there was no stick. You were supposed to just fill it to make it stand up. So as soon as it was empty, it flopped over. They have gotten so much better at that sort of stuff.
I actually was going to ask that question because I had a lady order one 2 days ago, and she asked if it stood on its own.
Yes.
And I told her I thought it did now.
Yes.
Because my sister-in-law has one from a few years ago, and I knew it
was
didn't.
awful. That one did not last the catalog very long because they were like, ooh, back to the drawing board. It was just terrible. As soon as the kids took the toys out or the dirty clothes were gone, it just flopped over and it was all sad looking. So yeah, these stand up, and they actually stand up really well with heavy stuff because when I have it filled with toys, it does really well. Because right now it's filled with like games and stuff for Boys and Girls Club. I try to collect it throughout the year. And so it would be good for wrapping paper, dirty clothes, toys, whatever you can imagine. And I actually throw that thing over my shoulder with the handles. It hasn't bent up. It hasn't broken anything. I'm pretty rough on mine. And so they're pretty sturdy. I'm very impressed with those. And then of course that hostess, encouraging that hostess to get to the $600 party for that bundle. That bundle is pretty fabulous. Okay. So one of the questions that was asked on the team page, and I thought it was a really good question. I think it was something like, I think Linda started the question. How do you share your business without feeling pushy? That was your question, right, Linda? not feeling like, you're bugging people or, that sort of thing. I totally get that. So I'll tell you some of the different approaches. First of all, I never leave my house without these. These are the mini catalogs. I don't generally hand out large catalogs because you'll never see it again, and it's just a waste of money. But these mini catalogs, since they're so inexpensive and they come a pack of 40, I usually have my name across the back. Now, when I'm really on top of things, sometimes I'll even get these little plastic goodie bags, and I'll put maybe some M&Ms or something, and I'll staple it to them because nobody turns away chocolate, right? A lot of times I'll set myself a goal of leaving my house with 3 of these and returning with 0. And so, like, for instance, the grocery store, I try to look for the same couple of ladies every time and, give them a mini catalog or something, or talk to them about 31. Places that you frequent a lot, they should all know that you sell 31, and not because you're like, do you want to book a party, but because you're, talking about your business, or you've made sure that you've given them a mini catalog. When it comes to strangers, like if I'm at a restaurant, I'll put this in with the bill after I paid. When I'm checking out at a store or something, I'll just look at someone and say, hey, have you ever heard of 31? And I hold this out at the same time. And I've gotten a couple of different responses. I've gotten yes, and they don't reach for it, which is fine. I just pull it back and ask them, who's your consultant, and have just an open conversation. Just happened to me last week. I was on a bus going to that wine tour in California, and I was talking to this lady across the aisle for a long time. So I pulled this out and I was like, hey, have you ever heard of 31? And she was like, oh, I love 31. My best friend sells it. So obviously she didn't take it. I just put it back into my purse, and we started talking about favorite products. I've had people look at me and say, no, what is 31? And I give it to them, and they're just like, I actually had someone say, is that you? I'm like, no, that's not me. It's like, good try. Or they'll say something, oh, do you own the business? And, because they just really don't know. And so then I just try to get right into my kind of like my 60-second, I don't know, elevator speech, just, what is 31? And I just say something like, we're just a functional bag company. We've got everything from, wallets to overnight bags. It's something for everyone. And then I just say something about how we're based off of Proverbs 31 Woman, and we're just really a company that's about supporting women and families in our communities. Whatever time I can tell that they're going to give me is what I talk about. I have had someone say, oh, I just don't need any more stuff in my life. And I'm like, well, everybody's a bag person, whether it's paper, plastic, or 31, you need a bag. And they'll just laugh and they're like, oh, that's a good one. So it really is just about keeping the conversation light. If I can tell someone's just really not going for it, I don't try to make them feel awkward or try to just drop the conversation. Like, for instance, the lady who was like, oh, my best friend sells. I just switched it to, oh, what's your favorite tote? And she was like, oh, my goodness, the large utility tote. So it's just really about keeping it light. One of my favorite things that somebody said to me once, if you're nervous about sharing 31 or telling someone about the opportunity, then your focus is really too much on yourself. Because, I don't know, aren't you glad that somebody told you about 31? Like, aren't you glad somebody invited you to a party or bought you a gift or sent you information? And
Kind of. Yes and no.
Because now
I'm hooked. So
you're hooked, right? So they shared the crack with you. Funny enough, the code for police officers when they're calling in a drug problem is code 31. I mean, that's just the best.
Oh, funny.
One of the things I put down here is when people join 31 or buy from 31 or agree to host a party, it's somewhat because of 31. Yes, the bags are cute, but these bags don't sell themselves. When they agree to buy something or place an order, book a party, join your team, it's you that has sold it for them. So whether you're trying to share something, a product or the catalog or book a party, it's your excitement that draws them, not because, you've posted somewhere on social media, hey, who wants to book a party? That's not what's going to get their attention. It's when you go to the grocery store and you're like taking a picture of your groceries in your large utility tote and say, I can't imagine life without it. People are watching those sort of posts. They're hiding the canned post, who wants to have a party this week? They're not paying attention to that. But when you're just yourself and what they say you're sharing and not selling, People are watching. I promise you that they're watching. And so what I wrote down was, people join you, not 31, but on the flip side, when they say no, they're not rejecting you, they're rejecting 31. Does that make sense? So when they do agree to a party or do something with you, it's you that's done it. So it's that excitement, you're sharing, your love, something you've shown. Like sometimes I'll take a picture of something and it gets no likes, no attention, no comments. But then today I posted a photo of my Cindy toe and I had people tagging their friends and sharing it and making comments and, oh, I got a book. I mean, it's really is something that has grabbed their attention because of something you've done. And I think I said something like, oh my word, this bag is just gorgeous. Something like that. I didn't say who wants one or who wants to book a party. I just shared it. And so remember that. Don't let it be like, oh, what if they say no? Well, what if they say no? But what if they say yes? And so, what I told somebody the other day? I had called this lady. I like to send these in the mail when I'm having to just kind of cold call someone. I don't like to just call someone out of the blue. I like to send something like this in the mail with a little note saying, I'm going to call you in a few days. That way, when I call, I don't have to be fake and be like, oh, how's your kid that I don't really know? I can just be like, hey, did you get that note in the mail? And either they'll say, oh my goodness, I haven't opened my mail yet, or they'll say, yes, I did. Thank you so much. And then I can start the conversation. So it's kind of like they know why I'm calling and I don't have to feel fake. But the other day, I called someone, I shared this with them, and I called them about booking a party. And she just was very kind, but very emphatic. No, it's just not my thing. And I said, thank you so much for getting me closer to my yes. And she just laughed because I love that answer, and it was just the positive. I didn't make her feel awkward or bad. I was just like, well, thank you. Cause my next person's my yes, and it saves me time when somebody tells me no, because I can move on and not wonder what they need. So Linda, back to your question was, how do you not feel pushy? I think the biggest thing is to kind of have your 31 eyes open and just look for those opportunities. When you're at a grocery store in line and the person in front of you has a cart full of groceries and no usable bags, hand them one of these and show them what you've got in your cart. Hey, you got to have one of these large utility totes. These things can hold up to 35 pounds. They're amazing, whatever you want to say. If you have a friend or somebody that's just had a baby and they're thinking about staying at home, ask them, would you like to find out more about 31? And this is a great thing to have as a hobby with a new baby around. And when you're sharing 31, it is actually easier to start with the recruiting aspect than it is to start with the party and then move up. Does that make sense? So do you want to book a party? Or, well, maybe you should just join my team, kind of a thing. Now, Brittany was kind of an anomaly because she booked a party and then we went to recruiting, because then she asked some questions after we had already gotten her party started and we got her signed up. That's called flipping your hostess. Now, that can happen too. Linda, I feel like I'm veering away from what you were actually asking me. Really, it just comes down to kind of sensing the mood. If it's just really not a good time, then don't ask. Maybe take that opportunity next time. But be your own billboard. Be carrying those products. Do not walk into a Better Together meeting with some kind of bag from Macy's. Like, you should be carrying 31. Sure, if you have a favorite, something else that goes with it, that's fine. But people should see you carrying your 31. When I go into the grocery store, I'm taking something, whether it's a picnic thermal or something. Something is going in with me that I'm coming out with groceries in it and not in a plastic bag. When I go to a party and I'm taking food to share, I put it in a 31 bag. Just be an advertisement for yourself, because that's not pushy. That's you just using your product. Just like a premier lady would wear her beautiful jewelry, or a makeup lady, her face is put on and she looks great. It's just a matter of, using your own products and sharing them out. I remember when I first signed up, I wouldn't use my own products because I didn't want them to get dirty. And then I was like, well, that's kind of dumb. I kind of should show them off to people, right? So Linda, do you have any specific scenarios that you were thinking like's difficult for you?
Not really. It's mostly, I've given out probably 30, but I've never gotten any response from any of them.
Are any of these people you can follow up with? Because I don't get a lot of responses from strangers.
The ones that I handed out at the vendor event last weekend, I've texted and emailed the ones that said on the slip to text or email, but I never got a response even from those.
That's not completely odd. And that's just people. And sometimes I'll try to reach out 3 or 4 times, and then I'll give it like a month, and then I'll reach out again. I usually try to give somebody 3 good tries, and then I stop trying for like a month or 2, so I'm not stalking them. But that's not an uncommon thing to get a bunch of people, because were you doing a drawing or anything?
I was.
They were probably just kind of after your drawing, which happens. And so when it comes to vendor events, my biggest thing that I've learned is quality over quantity. So even if I spend 10 minutes with one person really sharing the company, and I miss 10 other ladies that could be filling out a drawing slip, that's fine for me. Because if I feel like if I can make a connection and they walk away, I'm going to hear from them again. So like I have a vendor event coming up this Saturday, and that'll be my focus. It won't be trying to get 100 contacts. It's going to be, my focus will be 10 good contacts, 10 people that I really connected with. And I'll even make notes like she just had a baby, or she's a teacher, or something like that. So when I call them, I can say, how was the job this week? Or how was the house you just moved into? And that's the thing. And I don't want to come across like I'm faking that. I really do genuinely like to get to know people. And so, a lot of times I'll make myself notes about the person I just got through talking to. I'll write them down after they leave. Like like once I had a lady who had a special needs child, and I wrote down some details about that situation so that when I followed up with her, I could specifically say, how did so-and-so do with, I think it was a surgery coming up. And so if you can look for ways to connect with women, whether it's a vendor event or work, or if you do end up getting to do a party, or you're out and about and you see someone, I have walked right up to people that I just felt this nudge, like, you know what, I'm going to give this lady my information. So I walked up to her and I was like, I love your purse. That purse is cute. And it looks so much like this company 31. Have you ever heard of it? And she was like, no, we ended up becoming friends on Facebook. This was a few years ago. She ended up joining my team. I leave these everywhere. Sometimes at the doctor's office, I'll slide them into catalogs. And I actually had a lady who took one out of a catalog and 2 years later called me. She kept it like for 2 years and remembered she had it and finally called me. So it really is one of those things where it's just make a consistent effort, and maybe 3 times a day, pushing yourself to talk to someone or say something to someone about 31.
Can I make a suggestion?
Mm-hmm.
May I please? Since it's going to be end of school coming up, you can walk up to any mom that is standing there with kids and saying, I bet you have end of year teacher gifts to buy, and hand them a little pamphlet, because everybody's going to need end of year. There's your icebreaker right there.
And that can be, and that can be at the gym. It can be at the grocery store. It can be anywhere that, and if you, like I said, if you could just remember, if you're really concentrating on the fear, then you miss an opportunity to meet someone and just give them a solution. Because remember, that's what we're about, is solutions. So if you can find ways to, figure out what could this woman possibly need that I could give a solution for, that's the biggest thing. And don't quit, Linda. That's another thing. If I quit on my hard months, I wouldn't be here 10 and a half years later. Because it's one of those things where, on one hand, you have the ability to, whether it's a hobby or a business, grow this thing for yourself. But on the other hand, you don't have a boss like standing over you, putting on the pressure to do what he says to do. You're kind of putting that pressure on yourself. And so it's easy on those days when it's awkward just to kind of go, no, I'm not going to say anything. And then you miss an opportunity. And there's, like I said, there's just been some great times that I've met amazing people. And I would just, go back to creating your own vendor events. I think Susie's working on one where you network with women who sell stuff. And the benefit of that is they're bringing their contacts to the table. You're bringing your contacts to the table. And hopefully at this event, they're meeting you, her people are meeting you, your people are meeting hers. So I lived off of those events at the beginning of my 31 life, because I would have one like every 6 months. I'd find different women in different categories, and we'd have these vendor events, and we would challenge each other to get at least 10 people there. And then they'd all come, and we'd have all these wonderful new contacts because we're meeting each other's contacts. So there's a way to do that as well, and it's fun. And then when somebody just flat out tells you no, just ask them, well, who do you know in your life that loves to party? You know, I'd love for an introduction, or maybe you can pass my information on to them. I guarantee you they'll say yes and be like, I've got a friend. Everybody's got a friend that does that. I have like 2 or 3 that do that. They party for everybody. So, you know, getting leads from other people is a fun way too. Susie, what time is it? I didn't bring my phone in here.
9:23.
Okay. All right. We got like a couple more minutes because I actually have to move to another call after this. Okay. Really quickly, if you will go, and Linda, especially for you, if you have the time, if you go into 31today.com and you go at the top where it says, I think under learning or something, it says 31 minutes, I think. Yeah. 31-minute calls. Click on recorded calls, and there's all sorts of calls on booking and recruiting. There was a recruiting one from last Monday that was incredible. There's a 31-minute call going on right now that I'm looking forward to listening to tomorrow. So if you go and there's categories, all sorts of categories on meeting people, you know, recruiting, booking, all of that stuff is in there. You can download those and listen while you're driving, while you're cooking, while you're cleaning. If there's something monotonous that you're doing, sometimes when I'm in here working, I'll push play and listen to a call while I'm like working on letters and those sort of things. Sometimes I'll push play while I'm doing dinner in the kitchen. So take advantage of those calls because they're all really, really good. And I guess my last thing is, does everybody see the information on the Disney incentive? I see that? Okay.
Yes.
If 6 recruits looks scary to you, then start with, say, I'm going to get my first one. I'm going to get my first one. Because even if all you do is get one, you're getting fall products for that one recruit. Okay? And so you want to help her get signed up, then help her get to partying. I'm going to be there with you to help as well. But there is, like I said, and the recruiting call they did last week, this lady, she made it a challenge to ask one person every single day about the business. And I think she ended up recruiting something like, since August, like 36 people. Now that's like extraordinary. I'm not expecting that. I can't even do that. But let's just say you did one a month because you decided, I'm going to ask 10 people. I actually have a goal of 10 people a month. And I average 2 recruits a month. So that is definitely something you can do. And it can be just, I was scrolling through Facebook and somebody said, I'm going to ask her if she wants to join 31. Or someone who's had a job change, or they just started staying home with the baby, or, you know, just different health reasons. They've had to move or shift or do something different. I'll just ask them. And, you know, I've never had anyone say, how dare you ask me? They've always said, thank you so much for thinking about me. So just don't be afraid. Got to stop it there, but go to 31 Today. Check out the Disney incentive. Let me tell you something, ladies. This is so doable, and I love the fact that you don't have to be a leader to be a part of this incentive. And I love the fact that every step, every recruit along the way, you are earning something to improve your business. And even if all you do is come out of the other end of this as a senior consultant, you're halfway to the next level of leadership, or you're going to, you know, you're growing your business. And so if you don't have the information yet on that, please go to 31 and check out the Dreams video there from Scott and Cindy. So I'm pretty excited.
Can I add something?
Yes.
You have to watch Inspire.
Yes.
You have to watch
I am
Inspire.
not way. They're going to have to figure it out for themselves.
No, but that video is in the Inspire video too. So if you haven't watched that one, just watch Inspire. They added it to it, but you have to go watch Inspire.
And you have to watch it to the end, right?
To the very end.
Yes. Go watch Inspire. Okay. Well, that's it. Linda, I don't know if I answered your questions, but maybe if we can think of some more information, I will go into the 31 calls and see if there's any specific calls about that kind of getting around that nervousness. I'm sure there is, and we'll find a good call to maybe share. Everybody's personalities are different, and so I know I want to be able to speak to those who aren't like me, who can talk to a wall. And so, you know, we want to help you with that. But thanks for joining me, guys. It was great to have Heather joined in at the end. It was great. Let me see. I don't even know who all was on here. Catherine and
Megan has a question I'm supposed to ask.
Okay, go ahead.
She has somebody that wants to return a wallet. Doesn't have any personalization